So you've got a bright lamp. Oh, it went away. I was looking at him when I hit page up, so it did this. I wonder if it'll repeat. No. So you've got a bright lamp. Who cares? Like he accidentally shined the light in his face, and he did not like that.
Fresh meat, huh?
No, not the same reaction. I wasted it. I wasted it. How long ago was this? Shit. When is that? Oh, that's the quick saves. I don't trust the quick. I don't know exactly when the quick save was compared to now. Sentence et Maliolus Sentis and Maliolus, same excrement, different smell. Same shit, different day and whatnot.
What were you two talking about?
Sorry, what?
Don't play dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. What's he offering you? Money? Favours? What's your vote worth to him?
He wasn't trying to buy my vote.
What? You're throwing your lot in with him for free then? That's even worse. Mark my words, Maliolus is gonna be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, you'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
Maliolus. There's even more name there, right? I don't care about the election.
Good, then stay out of it. Nobody likes caput murdae foreigners interfering in an election.
Can I... give descript caput merde. Misspelled translate. That's a good start. Caput merde. From Latin, head of merda. Not as helpful as I thought it would be. Googling head of merda. CEO of Merida. That's not what I mean. Nope, no, I don't want your LinkedIn. Okay, well, this is Chad Merida. None of these are what I was looking for. TBH. Not a good time. Alright, well, back, fine. Mind if I ask some questions?
Can't hurt.
What's your story?
The name's Domitius. You want to get to Maliolus? You go through me.
I'd like to meet Maliolus.
Too bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
How is there that much of an economy with like 20 people? Afford what?
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
Alright, what do you want?
Dunno. Something good.
Isn't soliciting bribes a sin?
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
I don't think that the semantics or whatevs affects the status of sin or not. Unless it does. I don't know, can you argue with the idea of a sin like this is tyranny or something? The game? How is there like an underworld group and no one has sinned yet? I'll see what I can do.
Just make it good.
You know any way out of here?
When Maliolus wins the election, yeah? This place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
I think the curse is the reason to want to leave. What do you think about the golden rule?
I think it's gone on long enough. And Maliolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
I don't think that it works that way. How's he going to do that?
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Why can't you tell me now?
Because if I tell you, and it gets out, it'll give old man Sentius a chance to interfere in our plans. And we can't have that.
Did he I wonder if he genuinely found the source of the golden rule and figured out how to stop it, or if he's just talking out his ass completely. Can I help in some way?
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
And who are you gonna vote for?
Maliolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
I'll be going now.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
But not very well, because I have extremely limited peripheral view, which is mostly pointed at the floor, making me an excellent guard. Who is nowhere near Maliolus, as far as I can tell, as well. This seems crimey. Crimes? Crimes. Crimes. Oop. Oh, this might be climbable if they could support my weight. What is that? Do I get the ability to make them support my weight? Do I get a magic spell that makes them more vinier or something? I think I'm gonna die if I go this way. I already saved. Am I floating? Last save. You died. Listen, I believed in myself. I was. Ah. Okay, I was concerned for a second there. Is this the where the physician locked herself in? And whatnot? Hello.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
Sir, I don't even know what a cistern is. I wasn't, but now I am.
Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you?
Why shouldn't I go down there?
Nobody's told you about Hannibal. Ugh, why do I have to do everything round here? So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground. And hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie. I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed. And it was eating Hannibal.
Wouldn't that have broken the golden rule?
If it was a man, maybe. But I swear on my life this was no man. More like a Strix. Or some Versipalus that feeds on human flesh. I didn't stick around to see which.
What did you do?
What any sane person would have done. I legged it out of there and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
Well, that's a great story, but I'm still going down there.
Without a weapon? Well, it's your funeral.
No, it's my quick save. Poop. Let's find out if the monster's real. We know that you didn't kill Hannibal because it would be a sin unless the golden rule's not real. That'd be a funny twist if the golden rule just didn't exist and the entire conceit was out the window. No, that's a skeleton boy. Oh, he's a golden statue. Kick. 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 Lure you over here. A peeled statue. Oh, that's pretty distressing. Need you to face me real quick. Need you to face me real quick. There you go. You're just gonna go in the water now. Bye-bye. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. He can probably get back out of there, can he? Let's find out. Maybe he can't. Oh, that's a ramp. Let's not go towards the ramp and maybe he won't figure it out. You. Maybe he'll lose me or something. Oh, he's going... Oh, he's pathing towards somewhere. So he's having a bad time. But he's pretty defeatable. Well, if only they could support my weight. Ooh. Terrifying hole. Can I swim? I can swim. In the middle of disrobing as if she'd been fizzing the baths. Is there a hole at the bottom? I think so. Can I knock him into that? And then he definitely can't get back out, right? A statue can't swim. He's a statue. He's a statue. Lunar pendant. A lunar pendant. There's a Latin inscription on the back that where it reads "Sen die death." Don't know what that stands for. I would love to kill you, but I don't know how, and it's also maybe still a sin. Killing you might still be a sin. Peeled statue is a hell of a phrase, though. Did you become a statue after you were peeled?
Kill me.
Don't attack me then, dick. Okay. My options down here might be a bit limited. But he seems not very good at following me. So that's good for me. Bye. Can you crouch? I think he's pretty much it down here. I don't see a lot going on otherwise, but there is this lady. Whomst is gold. Oh. An emaciated human-like creature spattered in gold. It appears to have been crushed to death when entering the cistern from the cave beyond. Spattered in gold. Oh, I found money and arrows. That I apparently am allowed to take. How does one derive ownership? Determine ownership. And it also, when it comes to sin, is it the fact of whether or not you stole, or is it the intent to steal? Like, is the sin based on whether or not you know that you were stealing? That could have been somebody's stuff. So what if it was stealing, but I didn't know? I'm guessing that the denarius or whatever is the coins. Soot and water is what they used for ink. What's the goal here? Is this like a whole ship in a bottle social experiment thing, but with gods? Like the gods wanted to have a reality TV show and they're just having a wacky time with these poor humans that they trapped here. What if you're the guy who's like stuck at the whims of the god equivalent of like fucking like Jamie Kennedy or something? Like what a hell. I guess that is a lot of actual stories about gods. It's just really bad things happening to people that on the whims of some douchey god that does whatever they feel like mostly. An anonymous friend to Octavia. May the Lord bless and keep you. I am sorry I could not risk discussing this with you in person, but if I am right, then you're a believer like me. You would not be able to worship openly here, but know that you're not alone. If you ever feel like you need somewhere to pray, there's a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Another play is being rehearsed at the theater. Turn right at the first fork, then again at the second. Let's see. Cave behind theater. Right, then left. Octavia. Christian, question mark? Plus somebody else. We're taking notes, which might be here now. Let's see. If I go to Octavia, is that going to be written here? I guess I don't know if she's a Christian yet. That's my guess, based on it being the only religion mentioned so far. Painting and gardening. Oh, so whoever this is trapped. It's no doubt unpleasant cooking with such blah blah blah. A sculpture of Minerva, the Roman goddess of strategy. If I remember correctly, there's been some controversy lately around Roman statues and the fact that, like, I supposedly people have been finding, like, paint flecks all over them, is what I think I heard, which is indicative of the fact that the, it seems that the statues may have actually been painted at the time, which fundamentally changes people's perception of the statues in a lot of ways. There's this whole obsession over Rome a lot. Often with kind of shitty people, like there's like, it's not like a, you know, there's a Venn diagram, you're not automatically a bad person or whatever, but like there are like groups of people that are obsessed with Roman history that also get pretty fashy and concerning and whatnot.
So you survived the cistern. Probably just a stroke of fortuna. Don't get cocky.
Bro, I just kicked him a lot. But like, they're having a reaction a bit to the idea that these statues might have been like these garishly painted things, and not like they might have been all eye-catchy and colorful, and not just like these beautiful marble white things that are all accentuated by shadow alone and whatnot. Like that might just be the paint having all come off. But I don't know. I'm not a historian.
So you survived the cistern.
Yeah, I heard you the first time.
Probably just a stroke of fortuna. Don't what now?
Nope.
Whatever.
Wanted to see if there's any more follow-up conversation about the guy that I saw down there.
Ave.
Ave.
A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
Sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity, rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
Then why did you complain in the first place if you liked it? Whatever. How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river unconscious and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
Wow, that really should have stood out to me a lot faster. Oh my god, that went right past my head. I even made the River Styx reference with the coins when I was picking my gender, and I was fished out of the river by Karen. Okay. Yep. I think I see where this is going.
You do? Well then, have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
You're being a bit coy.
I know. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
What happened to Livia?
Up until a few weeks ago, she was a perfectly productive member of our little community, darning clothes and cutting hair. She was always so chatty, always seeking out newcomers and asking them where they were from and how they wound up here. And then, about a month ago, she suddenly changed. She withdrew, stopped working and became despondent, started muttering to herself. Galerius and I visited her to see how we could help, but she just looked at us with this haunted stare, called us bloodless shadows, and told us we were ignorant of some pattern. Look, it could be unrelated. Perhaps she simply fell ill. Or, as Galerius suggested, the weight of the golden rule was too much for her. But there is a small chance that she learned something, saw a pattern nobody else saw, and that it broke her. I just don't want to see that happen to you. So be careful, will you?
I'll be careful.
Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth, and come back to me if you discover any patterns.
Just leave the Minotaur alone. Like, leave him alone. I'll get right on it.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Okay, we need to calm you down again. Holy shit, this music is swelling in a way that is like actively getting hard to understand some of the people when they talk.
Ave again. Did you find what you need?
Do you know a way out of here?
I don't, I'm afraid. It seems to me we're exiled here until the gods judge us, one way or another.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
I'm quite sure it's the work of the gods, which is strange because they've never been particularly concerned with our misdeeds, as long as we've kept the peace of the gods. We ask for blessings, for good health, bountiful harvest, military victory, and in return, we offer praise, wine, incense, or animals. But here, it seems they require much more of us. I find myself reminded of an especially pertinent tale from our great poet Ovid in his epic Metamorphoses. Would you like to hear it? It is rather long.
Why not? I have time.
Wonderful. It goes like this. Baucis and Philemon were an old married couple living a humble life in a small town. One night, the town gets a visit from a couple of vagrants. They go from door to door, asking for a place to stay the night. Of course, being vagrants, they're turned away sharply from house after house, 1,000 in all, until finally they come to the little cottage where Baucis and Philemon lived. Now, the kind old couple had very little to offer, but nevertheless, they invite these strangers into their house and offer them food, wine, and a place to stay. Immediately, the guests make themselves at home. They begin gulping down the old couple's wine, so much so that Baucis, the old lady, begins to worry they're going to run out. And then she notices something strange. Her wine pitcher keeps refilling itself, as if by magic. Realizing only a select few possess such powers, says to her husband, Philemon, "I think these men are gods in disguise." Immediately, the couple begins apologizing for offering such coarse wine, and the vagrants metamorphosize and reveal themselves to be Jupiter, the king of the gods, and Mercury, the trickster god. They confide they didn't mind the meager offerings. They were just pleased that someone in the town offered them hospitality. Then Jupiter says to them, "You have passed our test, but everyone else in this city failed, so we are going to destroy this place and everyone in it, except you, who we will grant a wish." So old Baucis and Philemon escape up into the mountains safely, and they receive their wish, which is for eternity together. Meanwhile, Jupiter carries through with his threat and wipes that city off the map. Some say the moral of that story is that we must all honor the sacred rituals of guest friendship, the reciprocal obligations owed between hosts and guests. But I like to think it's that we should always show compassion for those less fortunate than ourselves.
It's a nice story, but also, yeah, extremely hilariously disproportionate, which is, yep, this guy's on my page. Or perhaps is that the gods might kill you at any moment for failing their test, and they don't have to tell you what the rules are.
A cynic philosopher might take that view, but it's not entirely invalid, I suppose.
Like the moral of the story is charming, but the punishment is horrifically disproportionate. It's like, holy shit. Also, how did they visit? I guess they're gods. There's some Santa Claus logic going on here. Because the first thing I thought is like, how do these people visit 1,000 houses in one night and still even have to worry about where to stay the night? Like, you should be out of night at that point. But I guess they did some Santa Claus nonsense because they're gods. They could have done all the houses simultaneously, basically, for all I know. What's the status of the election?
It must be completed by dusk, just the same as any other official business. It'll be between Sentius, the incumbent, and Maliolus, the challenger. Why do you ask?
Who's allowed to vote?
All of the male citizens who are willing and able to attend. Unless they're running, of course.
So by definition, it's a minority vote, even when it's the majority, because you guys are presumably like about 50% female. So that means that there's only 20 people left because 3 people are missing. So like 10 people. And 2 of the men are competing in the election. So there's only 8 people voting by my first guess. So the election, an election for a society of 23 people is going to be decided by a majority of 5. Can I vote then?
Well, you're not a citizen yet. So, no, I'm afraid not. But if it's any consolation, there are other ways to influence the outcome of an election.
Such as?
By using whatever gifts the gods gave you. Nothing untoward, of
A
course.
fellow traveler from a faraway land.
I'm getting Bethesda. Someone's yelling at me. What's your role in the election?
I'm responsible for announcing it and making sure the procedures are followed.
Can I nominate another candidate?
You can, assuming they're eligible and willing to accept the nomination.
Doesn't that really dilute the votes if, like, 8 people are voting for 3 candidates? Can we start the election now? That's probably a bad idea. Let's talk about something else.
Certainly.
I've been asking people about how they wound up here.
And did you notice anything? A pattern?
No.
Oh, well then. Keep asking people how they wound up here. I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind, and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
Writing down Livia pattern, because that's the thing there. I clicked on autopilot a little bit. I'll be going now.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Oop. Is it getting dark? Is there a day-night cycle that happens in the real times? I'm not sure. It does seem redder than before, doesn't it? Load. That's just the date right now, isn't it? Yeah. That's not the day-night cycle indicator. Photo mode. Oh, press P outside of the... Oh, it's got the rule of 3 lines and whatnot. And it's weirdly lower sensitivity with the movement. Hello. So normal, embossed, black and white. Mad Max. Las Vegas. Well, that's pleasant. Game Child, so Game Boy. Mosaic Q. What would it look like to run around in a game looking like this? Oh man, I could kind of dig that. I could kind of dig that with the saturation and the pixel chunk, the chunk pixels, the chunky pixels. Oh. You can see all the individual boundaries of up there. That's interesting. Iris. The font I used too much as a kid because no one stopped me. I was the reason why they have to tell you to use Times New Roman, even though Calibri is better, according to me, for some reason. Old film. Western. These are a lot of options. The metrics. The insistence on calling them something that sounds like the reference they're making, The Matrix, but not calling it that for real. Cinematic. Hellish. Is it because the pumped up blue and orange? I wonder. Retro mosaic. Retro color cartoon. These are in a really weird order. It keeps going between cinematic and retro and so on. Default. Alright, well that was a tour. Oh, you can toggle off the lines. Move camera. The camera just... Oh! 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 I fly. That's one way to get a look around this place, huh? I think I might be bound to my character by a certain distance, but... yeah, this is a lot more control than I expected. Kind of get a glimpse of the whole place. So that's like the slums area, right? And this is like the villa. This mode could just be useful for just getting a good view of the area and like... getting acquainted with my surroundings and so on. I like a nice compact setting for a game, so this is going to be a nice one. But anyway, that's enough for now.